Imagine pulling into your driveway after a long day, only to find your HOA president blocking your garage with her minivan, demanding you strip your house bare for an inspection right there in broad daylight. What started as a petty rumor about your backyard shed spiraled into a public humiliation that exposed not just the missing lawn gnome, but the ugly face of unchecked authority. And trust me, the takedown was sweeter than any neighborhood barbecue. In the manicured hell of Willow Creek Estates, a gated community in suburban Ohio where every lawn was measured to the millimeter and smiles were mandatory, lived Alex Rivera. Alex was the quiet type. A single dad in his mid-40s who'd bought his modest two-story home after years of scraping by. He kept to himself, mowed on schedule, and even volunteered for the annual block party cleanup. But in Willow Creek, that wasn't enough. The HOA ruled like a miniature dictatorship, enforcing rules that made sense only to those who wrote them. No visible trash cans after 8 a.m. Holiday lights down by January 2nd. And absolutely no unauthorized structures taller than 4 feet. Alex's crime? A small storage shed in his backyard, painted a shade of blue that wasn't on the approved palette. Whispers started almost immediately after he built it, first from nosy neighbors, then amplified by the HOA board's email blasts. Potential code violation, they called it. But Alex knew better. It was payback for politely questioning the board's latest fee hike at the last meeting. The rumors grew legs fast. By week 2, folks were saying Alex's shed was hiding something sinister: illegal fireworks, a meth lab, or worse, unregistered pets. None of it was true. Of course, Alex had stored nothing but gardening tools and his daughter's old bike in there. But in Willow Creek, truth was secondary to community standards. He heard the gossip at the mailbox, Mrs. Jenkins from across the street muttering about shady characters lowering property values. Alex bit his tongue, nodded politely, and went inside. Inside, though, he was cataloging every whisper, every sidelong glance. He'd learned patience the hard way, back in his days as a detective in Cleveland PD, before burnout and a messy divorce pushed him into a quieter life as a security consultant. He didn't flash that past around, it was his ace in the hole. A skill set for reading rooms, spotting lies, and waiting for the guilty to trip themselves up. Enter Barb Kensington, the HOA president and reigning queen of petty tyranny. Barb was in her late 50s, with a helmet of perfectly coiffed blonde hair, pearls that screamed respectable, and a smile that could curdle milk. She preached order and harmony at every meeting, quoting bylaws like scripture. But her real game was control. She'd fine you for a weed in your flower bed while her own yard sported a gaudy fountain that violated half the rules. Barb had held her position for 8 years, unchallenged, because she manipulated the board with sweet talk and veiled threats. "We must protect our investments," she'd say, her voice dripping with faux concern. But deep down, she feared nothing more than losing her throne, especially after Alex's innocent question at the meeting made a few neighbors murmur in agreement. One crisp Saturday morning, Alex was raking leaves when Barb's minivan screeched to a halt in his driveway. She hopped out, clipboard in hand, flanked by 2 board members, timid Mr. Ellis, who avoided eye contact, and eager beaver Mrs. Patel, who nodded like a bobblehead at everything Barb said. "Mr. Rivera," Barb announced loudly enough for the whole block to hear, "we've received multiple complaints about your unauthorized shed. Effective immediately. You're in violation of Section 7.2, non-conforming structures." Alex set down his rake, wiping sweat from his brow. He kept his voice even. "Morning, Barb. I submitted the plans last month. You approved them. Barb's lips thinned into a line. That was before reports of suspicious activity. Neighbors say you've been sneaking things in and out at night. We need to inspect it. Now. Alex crossed his arms. Suspicious like what? Barb leaned in. Her pearls clinking. Don't play coy. If it's just tools, prove it. Open the shed. Or we'll fine you $500 a day until you comply. The block went quiet. Curtains twitched in windows. A jogger slowed to a walk, pretending to tie his shoe. Alex felt the heat of eyes on him. But he didn't flinch. You want to search my property without a warrant? Barb huffed. This isn't court. Mr. Rivera. This is Willow Creek. We have the right under the covenants to ensure compliance. Mr. Ellis shifted uncomfortably, mumbling. Barb. Maybe we should check the bylaws again. But she waved him off. Nonsense. If he's innocent, he'll cooperate. Thieves and rule breakers always hide behind technicalities. Alex's daughter, Mia, a sharp-eyed 16-year-old with her dad's quiet intensity, peeked out from the front door. Dad? Everything okay? He gave her a reassuring nod. Just HOA stuff. Kiddo. Go back inside. But Mia lingered. Phone in hand. Recording subtly. Alex turned back to Barb. Show me the complaint logs. Barb's smile turned icy. I don't need to show you anything. Open it. Or face escalation. The standoff drew a small crowd, neighbors sipping coffee on porches. Whispering. What's he hiding? One said. Barb's just doing her job, another chimed. Alex stood firm, his detective instincts kicking in. He noted Barb's flushed cheeks, the way her eyes darted to the gathering onlookers. She was performing, feeding off the drama to solidify her power. But he also spotted Mr. Ellis's fidgeting, the sweat on his brow despite the cool air. The man knew something was off. Barb, Mr. Ellis tried again. I think there's a mix-up. The shed color, not now. Harold. Barb snapped, her voice cracking like a whip. Focus on the violation. Alex met her gaze. You're accusing me based on rumors you probably started. That's not enforcement, that's harassment. Barb stepped closer, invading his space. If you're clean, empty the shed right here. Let everyone see. The absurdity hung in the air, tools and bikes strewn on the lawn like a garage sale from hell. Neighbors chuckled nervously. But the tension built, thick as fog. By afternoon, the whispers had turned to shouts. Barb emailed the entire neighborhood, urgent, potential hazard in lot 47. Inspection pending. Alex's phone buzzed with texts from concerned friends, some supportive, others probing. Dude, just open it and end this, one said. But Alex knew better. Rushing would validate her power grab. Instead, he documented everything, timestamps, emails, even photos of the crowd. Mia helped, her teenage sarcasm shining through. She's like a bad cop in a worse movie. Dad. He smiled faintly. Worse than that. But movies have twists. That evening, at an emergency HOA meeting, Barb called in the community clubhouse. The room buzzed with anticipation. Folding chairs scraped against linoleum as residents filed in. Barb stood at the podium, gavel in hand, her face a mask of righteous indignation. Fellow homeowners, she began, voice booming through the cheap mic. We gather because one resident threatens our harmony. Mr. Rivera refuses a simple inspection, hiding behind excuses while endangering us all. Alex sat in the back, arms folded, observing. He noted the board's unease, Mrs. Patel avoiding his eyes. Mr. Ellis scribbling notes furiously. A young woman in the front row, Lena Torres, fidgeted with her notebook. Lena was new to the neighborhood, a law student interning at a local firm, and she'd been vocal about HOA overreach in online forums. Barb pointed at Alex dramatically. If your shed is compliant, prove it tonight. We'll adjourn and inspect immediately. Murmurs rippled. That's fair, someone said. Alex stood slowly. Fair? You're demanding I expose my private property to the mob because of anonymous gripes. Barb smirked. Anonymous for their protection. Cooperate, or we'll vote to lien your home. Lena cleared her throat. Mrs. Kensington. Under state law, HOAs can't conduct warrantless searches without probable cause. Barb shot her a withering look. This isn't your courtroom, dear. Sit down. But Lena persisted. Actually, it could be. Forcing entry violates privacy rights. Mr. Ellis leaned forward. Barb. Lena's right. And about the complaints, I checked, they're all from the same IP address. The room hushed. Barb's face paled slightly. But she recovered. Irrelevant. The bylaws allow it. Alex's voice cut through. Bylaws you twist like pretzels. Show the IP logs. Barb banged the gavel. Meeting adjourned. Inspection now. The crowd spilled out, following Barb like a parade to Alex's house. Flashlights bobbed in the twilight as neighbors clustered on the sidewalk. Barb marched up his driveway, pounding on the door. Open up. Mr. Rivera. This ends tonight. Mia opened the door a crack. Dad's not home. Barb pushed forward. Then we'll wait inside. Mia blocked her. No way. Alex appeared from the shadows of the garage, having slipped out earlier to watch from afar. Barb. You're trespassing. She whirled. I'm enforcing. He stepped into the light. Enforcing what? Your ego? The crowd shifted, sensing the shift. Mr. Ellis tugged Barb's sleeve. The IP, it's from your home computer. Gasps echoed. Barb sputtered. That's a lie. Harold. Shut up. Lena stepped up. I can confirm. I pulled public records. Those complaints are fabricated. Alex smiled thinly. You started the rumors to oust me after I questioned your fees. But you ignored warnings from your own board. Barb's composure cracked. This is mutiny. I'll fine you all. But the neighbors murmured dissent. She's faking it. That's abuse. Lena pulled out her phone. As an intern at the DA's office, I know fraud when I see it. You're done. Barb's eyes widened in panic. You? Duh. Lena nodded. Trainee. But I know the law. You've violated covenants and state statutes. The crowd turned. Someone yelled. Resign. Barb backed away, clipboard clattering to the ground. Alex watched her unravel. The queen dethroned by her own arrogance. You wanted transparency, he said softly. Now you've got it. In the chaos that followed, the board voted Barb out that night, her minivan speeding away amid boos. Alex's shed? It stayed. Repainted on the HOA's dime. The neighborhood breathed easier. Rules reformed under new leadership. Mr. Ellis took over. Apologetic and fair. Lena became a hero. Her internship tales now including this epic flip. Alex and Mia shared a quiet dinner. The weight lifted. "You were like a ninja, Dad," she said. He chuckled. "Just patient." But the real win was the lesson: power unchecked rots from within. So, was Barb the real villain? Or just a product of a system that rewards tyrants? Drop your take in the comments, right or wrong.